Hello everybody. Today we are talking about Mercury Retrograde, which takes place on 16th of November to 6th December 2018. And this is Komilla Sutton, and I will be discussing about how to deal with the Mercury Retrograde, what are the signs it is in, what nakshatra it is in, and do listen to right to the end, because I give a little gem always at the end of my recordings. So do listen to all the way. So anyway, we have a Mercury retrograde again from 16th of November to 6th of December. Now, Mercury gets retrograde 3 to 4 times a year. So it is something that we should be aware of. We should know how to handle it, what to do with it, and it affects everybody. So don't feel only I will get affected and somebody else won't be, because Mercury deals with communication, and when it gets retrograde, somehow the aspects of communication get messed up. So we need to double check our appointments. If you're traveling, then check everything is in order, your paperwork, everything, keep plenty of time before you reach the airport, or where if you are going to drive, everything you can be just held up. Computers, emails all get messed up. So don't just rush into doing things. Double check everything. You know, that's what I like to do when Mercury is retrograde, because it happens once every 3 months or so. So it's a regular occurrence. So we have to be conscious of it, and we have to learn how to work with it. So that is the thing. Then what I find is that Mercury retrograde is most irritating or troublesome at the start of the retrograde, which is 16th November, and then towards the end of the retrograde, which is 6th of December. And then it is also, one sec, I'm going to check the date so that I don't get it wrong, but then it is going to be conjoined with the sun on 26th. And basically the whole aspect of retrograde is that it is going to retrograde and come close to the sun, because sun pulls the Mercury back to its energy. So it's almost like you're refueling your thinking, you're refueling what you're doing, what you're deciding in life. And it's a time when the Mercury is hidden behind the sun, and then it moves back, and then it will go direct, because it goes too far back. Then it wants to go direct to catch up with the sun again. So it is important to work with this and to be aware of Mercury retrograde as you go along. So those 3 dates that I've given you: the beginning, the middle, and the end of the retrograde. And it affects most intensely, it will affect Gemini, and it will affect Virgo, because it is their ruling planet. Gemini, it is going to be transiting in your 6th house. So the message is to check your health, to double check, plan for some health issues, and not that you're going to get ill, but just to plan your overall health regime during this time. And then also you may feel obstructed about some things, because Mercury has a long transit into Gemini. So take your time, don't feel frustrated by it, allow that energy to develop. Then as far as Virgo is concerned, Mercury is retrograde in their 3rd house of self-effort, and sometimes that self-effort is not happening because we are pushing ourselves, and it's you're not getting the correct direction. So it is a good idea both for Gemini and Virgo to meditate, to think what do they want to do, to look back at the last 3 months, what has happened. And then once it is direct on 6th of December, you're ready to move forward, you're ready to move on. So that is a good way to look at this retrograde. The rest of us, we have to be aware of this aspect that Mercury is going to be retrograde. It is going to be upset our communication effort. So sometimes we are not thinking correctly. So say, for example, you've made some decisions before the 16th, and you'll suddenly reverse those decisions, or decisions made during the retrograde period tend to get reversed. So I like to take my time, even if I'm very sure this is what I want to do, then I wait till Mercury goes direct before finally making a decision. Now, there are some plus points about this retrograde is that Mercury is with Jupiter. Generally, Mercury in Scorpio is very intense and not the best energy, but because it is with Jupiter throughout the retrograde period, it is a very good guru is blessing. So the good wisdom, good knowledge is blessing. So it encourages us to look deep into the secrecy of Scorpio, to make some discoveries about what we want, where we want to move towards in our life. So, and it's great for a study of Jyotish astrology because we are thinking that way. It's not good to feel vengeful at this time because Scorpio sometimes can be their own worst enemy, and you don't want to do that. Scorpio has the higher vibration, so that is what you need to look at. Now, one other interesting aspect of this Mercury retrograde is that it is going to retrograde in all 3 nakshatras connected to Scorpio. So we retrograde at 19 degrees of Scorpio, which is in Jyeshta Nakshatra. And Mercury is thinking about power, about succeeding against all odds and being powerful. But then it retrogrades and we go back to Anuradha Nakshatra. And Anuradha is where it is going to conjoin with Jupiter as well as with the Sun. And Anuradha Nakshatra, it moves from 22nd of November to 2nd of December. And in Anuradha, it is going to be there. It will conjoin Sun, and then it will conjoin Jupiter on the 27th of this month, November, and Sun on 26th. But they are together in a kind of mixture there. So Anuradha is about succeeding beyond all odds. It's the nakshatra of the lotus. And if you listen to my recording on Jupiter and Anuradha, you'll see that Mercury will analyze this aspect of Anuradha to be able to succeed wherever you are, because Anuradha is the lotus and the lotus flowers in the mud. That means it doesn't matter where we are at this stage. We can aspire, we can move towards our higher self. And then the last 2 days of the retrograde is in Vishaka Nakshatra. And Vishakha is about moving, into different dimensions of life. So it is like when you go through a doorway, you are then moving towards the next doorway and the next doorway. So that is the aspect of Vishakha. But it is unusual for Mercury to go through all the 3 nakshatras in a retrograde. And what you have to think is that you have already done this retrograde in a direct form. So Mercury has been through Vishakha, Anuradha and Jyeshta direct, then it is going to retrograde, and then it will go direct through these. That means a triple chance to really get your knowledge together, to really understand what Scorpio is about and how you can deal with it. So it is a very interesting retrograde. It's always take care about the retrograde. And I have written more about this on my planetary news page. So you can go on my website, Komilla.com, and get to more information. Also, this is the time when you are able to book into my 2018 classes. Every year I teach a full course. It's a 3-level course. They begin in March. and there's foundation, rules of interpretation and prediction. Go and check this out on my website, and you can see what is happening, and whether you may like to join and know. Then you can understand a lot more about these retrogrades and transits and everything. So finally, one thing is there, that to watch for 16th of November. Lots of things are happening on 16th of November. Venus goes direct, Mercury goes retrograde, Jupiter changes nakshatra. So look it up on my website, all the details, and all the best. This is Komilla wishing you very good month and Mercury retrograde ahead. Thank you very much.